Well, good afternoon, everybody. Sean Palmer here. Seth Kamens. We don't know. He is recovering from April 15th, well, really April 18th, the tax season. Hopefully, he will be on today. If not, it may be me for a half hour, maybe me for 45 minutes. Not really sure how long I can go today, but it says device is not connected for Seth, so not exactly sure. Seth, are you there? Hey, there he is.
Let me give you a call when I get back from Disney. Okay?
Oh, well, he's on the phone, so we'll get him when he gets off the phone. All right, now he's back off the phone. Hey, bud.
Sorry about that.
That's all right. You're alive.
Barely. Worst night of my working life, Monday night.
Oh, and here we are. And you get to watch the Nets tonight.
Yep.
Believe it or not, so I have watched more basketball in the last week than I have probably in the last year. I was really excited for the NBA playoffs. The Nets and Celtics definitely did not disappoint whatsoever. That was a tremendous game with a fantastic ending, reminiscent of Dennis Johnson and Larry Bird from the 80s. The Nets, I got to tell you, I thought that the Nets were going to pull it out, and they look to be the better team. Tonight they're playing again in Boston. Mark, I don't have a feeling one way or another on this team other than, look, if Robert Williams does not come back for the Celtics, I still don't see them winning. I still don't see them winning this series.
I think whoever wins this game wins the series. I'll make it really simple. I don't think Boston's winning. I don't think the Nets are beating them 4 out of 5. And I don't think I think Boston's going to have trouble winning in Brooklyn, to be perfectly honest. I think it's a really good – I think it's a conference – it's a potential conference final being played in the first round.
Sure.
And when you look at and whoever comes out of it is going to be probably pretty beat up, playing a very well-rested, most likely Milwaukee team. And we'll see. But the series, I've seen a little bit. As I said, it's been a pretty rough couple of days. But I saw a lot of it. And the playoffs are fun. They always are.
I will tell you one thing. I am the first person to admit when I'm wrong. I really am the first. Yeah, I really am. And I was wrong. The maturation and development of Marcus Smart has been much more than I ever thought it would be. I really thought that they overpaid for Marcus Smart when they signed him to this 4-year extension for $20 million, about $20 million a year. First of all, he won Defensive Player of the Year, which he probably should have been in the running for the last 3 to 4 years. He's that good defensively. But offensively, he has made dramatic improvements. And you saw that in the last game, in the last minute, right? I mean, he didn't force that shot. He found Tatum. Now, granted, there were 2 guys collapsing on him, but the decision to pull back that shot and make that pass is what has made him a better player. And overall, like I said, I thought he was a defensive player, a prime defensive player, kind of like a Tony Allen-ish type guy, where whatever he could contribute on offense was much more of a positive. Even if he contributed nothing, he was still a positive because of the amount of defense that he played. But now he's a net positive on offense.
Yes.
He's a legitimate two-way player. And is he the third guy that team can run through the East with? I don't think he's that good. But if Horford keeps playing the way he was and turns back the clock the way he did, look,
you get back Williams at some point.
Yeah.
Now the question is, do they have enough depth? Also, that's what I don't know. I don't, and again, I still don't know, and neither do you, whether they're getting out of this round regardless.
Oh, correct.
But regardless of that, at least going forward, you feel a lot better about this team than you probably did about 6 months ago.
Yeah. Oh, well, 6 months ago, they've had the best record in the NBA in the last 4 months.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I mean, but when they started, they were like 12-12 or 13. And, Boda probably should have gotten some mention for coach of the year as well. Nothing against Monty Williams but that's a heck of a turnaround. I mean, the Phoenix team is extraordinarily talented, although they got some problems now.
Losing Devin Booker last night and losing him for 2 games is a big deal when you're facing New Orleans.
I mean, think about New Orleans if they had Zion.
Yeah.
I mean, that team would be freaking dangerous. With and Irving and Williamson and decent centers.
And no defense to speak of. No.
But you can win 130 to 120 as easy as you can lose, as easy as you can win 100 to 90.
Yeah, we're seeing that in Memphis and Minnesota, aren't we? which is such a fun. We said it at the beginning of the playoffs that I was certainly looking forward to that series more than any of the others because I thought that would be a fun series, and it has been. And last night was look, Memphis came back. I expected them to win on their home court for the second game after losing the first game. And John Morant is John Morant, right? I mean, they have the best. There is the best two guards potentially in the next 5 years. We said it last week, and Anthony Edwards and John Morant that could be for the next decade. But the one player that did not show up last night showed up in game 1 was Karl Anthony Towns. He just did. This Minnesota team is not going to win when Karl Anthony Towns is in foul trouble in the fourth quarter. It's not going to happen.
No. And look, this team is kind of reminds me of where Memphis was a year ago.
Yep.
You have now the difference is Minnesota talent-wise. Memphis is more cohesive. Minnesota, from an individual talent standpoint, Memphis doesn't have a number 2 like either Towns or Edwards is, whichever one you want to determine is the 1 or 2.
Sure.
Or even a 3 like D'Angelo. So it'll take – I think this is going to show Minnesota is probably a playoff mainstay going forward because I don't see – I mean, unless the team – because there seems to be some cohesion there. It just takes time to develop.
Right. They'll stay a mainstay as long as Patrick Beverley's on that team because he's
happy there. So
Beverley's 33. He does break down at times. He's got 2 more years in that deal. But Beverley's the engine that makes that team run. And it's funny how we're talking about guards that are deep. That I thought Marcus Smart was only a defensive player. Maybe Marcus Smart was Patrick Beverley and now has become a better Patrick Beverley. Beverley doesn't have the offensive game, but he certainly is the heart and soul of that team.
Right, but the difference also is Boston is predicated on a defensive premise.
Sure.
And Jaylen Brown, who is one of your favorite players in the league, is a very good defensive player. Tatum is a pretty good defensive player.
Yep.
Nobody's ever said that about the Minnesota. So
it's Beverley and nobody else. And that's the reason why they are. Well, maybe Beverley and McDaniels, but that's where they are today because of those 2 guys.
McDaniels is a 20-minute a game guy.
Yeah, but those are the 2 guys that make that team run because they are the only defensive players. And by the way, thank you for bringing up Jaylen Brown, who once again proved to be the most valuable dollar-for-dollar player in the NBA. He the other night, he once again proved that he's that good and on that type of. Hold on one sec, Seth. I'll be right back.
Okay, I guess so. Now Sean is on break, so it's all about me. But we'll just kind of go brief on some of the other playoffs. I don't know who watched the Phoenix New Orleans game last night. What a performance by Brandon Ingram, and I mean, what a performance by him against the Clippers, even in a phenomenal playing game last week. That team is a player or 2 away. They don't really have a point guard, but they can shoot between McCollum and Ingram. And the question is, what do you do with Zion? Is Zion really going to request a trade? I don't really know. I mean, it's seemingly so. But if you do, the advantage is you're going to get an enormous. If you're going to trade him, you're going to get an enormous amount back. Hello, welcome back.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Who are we talking about today?
I was going back to New Orleans and just kind of bringing. If Zion, do you think Zion is going to request a trade?
Yes, 100%. I don't think he goes back. I think it's a very similar to a Kawhi situation where he sits out a whole year. Look, we saw the dunk that he made on Twitter, right? So I mean, he's got some health. He's got some health. He can jump higher than my body. So he's pretty healthy. I think he definitely requests a trade. Whether they look, he's got 2 more years in that deal, at least 2 or 3. Does he get that? Does he get that trade? I don't know. And what does he bring not having played for a year and a half? So I thought if you're the Knicks, let's just use the Knicks because the Knicks are the ones that are looking at obvious. Right? What are the Knicks giving up for Zion?
A crap load.
Are they? Without seeing him play?
Yeah.
And once again, we're gonna come to a situation where the Knicks are giving up a crap load for a guy that will probably disappoint. If you're getting to that point, look, Zion is a man in a boy's body. Like a boy in a man's body. The other way around. Excuse me.
We're all men in boys' bodies.
That's true. Look, but the last person we said that about was LeBron James.
Yeah.
I mean, all right. I mean, he is and before that, Greg Oden, but Greg Oden looked like a 50-year-old man. But the fact is, right. But the thing is about Oden and Zion is the injury bug. And when you have that much, I'll say it, you have that much torque on your body. When you play a game like Zion plays, there has never been in the NBA. Can you make a comparison to him, the way he plays and the body that he has in the NBA? But Barkley wasn't that big. He really wasn't.
Barkley was 6'4", 260. So
not when he first came out, though.
You're saying the closest comparison. That is
okay. That's fair. Comparison. That's fair. But
Zion is. I don't know what Zion is, but what this year has been is. I mean, what do you even make of it? He can play. He's doing through the legs dunks.
Right. First of all, doing it through look,
his physical ailments cannot be that bad if he's doing through the legs dunks.
I agree with that. Can he play a full game? I think that maybe
you get him for 20 minutes a game.
Yeah. Well, we said the same thing about Kawhi, didn't we? We said this exact discussion happened about Kawhi.
Right, but the difference with Kawhi is Kawhi's already proven himself as he was the number 1 player on one championship team and the number 2 player on another one. He may have been the number 1 player on the team with the Spurs as well when they won their last one, debatably.
Yes.
He is, been all NBA. He's been all defense. He could have been an Olympian if he chose to play in the Olympics. He's already proven that. Now, Kawhi is obviously a bit of an unusual cat, let's be honest here. But the accolades have been earned. Zion's never done anything. And
you're right.
So the question is, what do the Knicks give up? Well, the reality is the Knicks got a problem on this because the only thing that New Orleans would want, like David Griffin is not giving away Zion Williamson.
Nor should he.
No. So who on the Knicks would you want? RJ Barrett? He's going to the Knicks in part to play with RJ Barrett.
Yep.
So you have nothing to offer.
Oh, I agree. The only thing that you have to offer is a whole lot of picks. Like, that's it.
And that's not going to do you a heck of a lot of good because if you're trading Williamson, the whole point is that with Williamson and Barrett, the picks are not going to be in the team and not going to be number 7 or number 9. It's going to be pick number 20.
Right. No, and I get, but this, look, Seth, this goes back to who is. I listened to the entirety of the NBA this weekend and listened to, hey, if the Jazz fail, then Rudy Gobert could go X, Y, and Z, right? And I still say it's not Rudy Gobert that's going to get traded. It's Donovan Mitchell because I think that the market for Donovan Mitchell is much bigger than And I look at Zion Williamson and you're looking at David Griffin and you say, okay, where is Zion going that teams will pay that much? Look, this is a player driven league. I get it. But until Zion could remember let's go back to even the trade between the Raptors and the Spurs. Do you remember what was given?
DeRozan.
Yep.
And 2 first-round picks?
Nope. DeRozan, Jacob Popel, and a first-round pick. That was it.
And DeRozan's been an all-NBA player this year.
Right, but hold on. Come on. DeRozan was not billed as an all-NBA player when he was traded. DeRozan was billed as a 20-point game scorer that played absolutely no defense and could not pass the ball and could not shoot a three-pointer, right? I mean, that was his game. And that was – look, DeMar DeRozan, you give credit the same way you give it to Marcus Smart. They have developed their game over time, and they have gotten much better. But the DeMar DeRozan that was traded is not the DeMar DeRozan of today. No way.
No, I agree.
You can make the case that DeMar DeRozan today is worth more than the Kawhi Leonard of today. I mean, you can make that case, especially since he's healthy, which Kawhi hasn't been for 2 years. But so what are you trading? You're saying that Zion is less than Kawhi. So what are you trading? I know what you want, but what are you going to get? And I think that's a big step in the other direction. If you're the Lakers, would you give up Anthony Davis for him? No, of course not. Really?
It's not like Anthony. First of all, New Orleans is not trading back for Anthony Davis, so this is that's absurd.
Okay. Let's go to Phoenix. Okay, I think Phoenix is a good partner. You giving up Devin Booker for him?
No.
Okay. Now, also remember, Zion's on a $9 million contract.
Yes.
I mean, if you're matching up salaries, good luck with that, right? So now you have to match up. You have to assume that New Orleans is under the cap, which they're not, after they just acquired CJ McCollum. And you have to figure out how that trade is going to work, which may be a 2 or a 3 team trade. I don't know where he go. Look, his perfect fit in a perfect world is Portland. Like, that works like a freaking glove. I love that fit.
And the idea of Lillard coming to New Orleans to play with McCollum?
No. With Lillard, not for Lillard.
So you're going to offer 3 first-round picks.
Yeah, there's nothing else there. Anthony Simmons. Yeah. I mean, look, again, there's nothing there. Well, remember, they traded McCollum, so they got some picks in that trade. So will that do it? Maybe. But I'm saying, where else is he going? Remember, the NBA has traded picks like they are going out of style, which is one of my fun parts of the NBA in general, is how many picks get moved. It's also been the NFL recently, too. But it's a matter of what are you looking for? What can you give up? And how does it all work? He's not going to Houston, right? He's not going to Oklahoma City.
He could go. I mean, Houston has the draft picks.
No. These teams all. I'm telling you, the teams that have the draft picks. But he's not. Remember, Zion has the ultimate card. I'm just not going to resign. Like, in 2 years, he could pull the Anthony Davis card. I'm just not going to resign with you. It's just that simple. And has any player finished their first contract, been offered a max and not signed? The answer is no.
Hold on for a second.
Yeah.
My little dude has come over here.
Hey, Jakey.
And Jakey just asked the question. What
yes,
time
Jake.
is it? Jakey, why did you ask what time it is? What time is it?
Because Georgetown still sucks.
That is true. But why did you ask what time it is, Jakey? Because what are we watching later tonight?
Okay, Boston versus Nets.
Yeah.
Nice.
He asked me 7 times on Sunday. When is it 3:30 so we can watch Boston versus
Wow. Jake, I love the hat. I'm a big fan. Good job. Daddy did well.
Thank you.
Is it almost time to go away, Jake? Is it almost time for your trip?
Where are we going tomorrow?
Disney World.
Disney World. And here's the
Thanks,
other
Morgan.
Here's
Thanks,
the other
Morgan.
one. Ugh.
And
Hi,
tomorrow.
Hi, Morgs.
is-
Hi, Morgs.
Yes, and tomorrow is Golden State. That's right.
Yeah, there you go.
I think we can leave Jake I think we can now bring Jake to the sports bar.
Fantastic.
Days.
Well, we brought him to the sports bar last time, and Syracuse beat Duke, so I'm totally down with that.
Jakey, no touching the bottom. Jakey, no touching the
I'm
bottom.
trying to slide it to the first computer.
I will move it to the first computer.
I want to. I never get to.
So anyway, I think that if you look at these teams that have those picks, such as Houston or Oklahoma City, would Zion even want to go there? And I'm not sure the answer is yes.
So if the Knicks, are they going to trade three first? They going to do a Harden deal? You're going to trade 3 first-rounders and flip 2, swap 2?
Are they giving up Barrett in that trade?
5 picks plus Toppin plus.
Oh no, you're already killing me. First of all, Toppin almost makes that deal salary-wise with Zion. So I mean,
right? You don't even need that.
The salary filler is really not that much.
The guys, I'll say right after the show, okay?
But
this show.
Here's what I suggest: if the Knicks are offering it, they offer up their first-round pick this year, who's probably going to be 11, right? 10 or 11. I think they're in the lottery. They offer up the Mavs first round pick unprotected next year, and they offer up a swap next year. And that's it. And you give up Toppin. So you're basically giving up 3 first round picks.
3 first rounds in Toppin?
Actually, it's 2 first rounds, a swap, and Toppin. You're giving up the Mavs pick next year, the Knicks pick this year, and a swap of the Knicks pick next year. And that's what you give up. Because where else does he go? This is the Carmelo Anthony situation. He wants to go to one place. He's not going to re-sign.
And look what the Knicks ended up giving up for Carmelo.
Oh, I almost puked when I did puke when I saw it in Cancun. I was like, why? Why?
And that was before you were drinking.
And by the way, this eerily reminds me of what the Jets could potentially be giving up for Deebo Samuel. That's like, I just see this in the back where Deebo needs a trade, and I know I'm switching over sports, but Deebo needs a trade. The Jets are his number 1 selection, much like Tyreek Hill. It was either the Jets or he's only going to go to one of 2 places. The Jets are in the driver's seat. And then it's like, okay, we gave up how much for this guy and then had to pay him $32 million on top of it?
Yeah, I mean, John Lynch is certainly not going to let that go with ease.
No, definitely not. But let's go back to
that'll be a next week. That'll be a next week.
No. We're gonna continue that conversation in a second. But
okay, next week's our NFL draft preview.
Yeah. Who's the most disappointing team in the first round for you?
Let me think for a second. Why am I skipping? It's too early to tell. I mean,
really?
Well, let's go through this quick. Oh, the Raptors. I'm sorry.
Okay. So I was going to pick the Raptors or the Hawks. Like, I think the Hawks.
I don't think the Hawks played badly last night. I just think Butler went insane the last 5 minutes. They also don't play defense.
But in the first game, they were like Trae Young, very disappointing. Maybe it's a lack of John Collins. I don't know. But not having Clint Capella certainly does not help.
No.
When you don't have that, you have one defender.
What is Toronto? I mean, Toronto now doesn't have Scotty Barnes.
Yep.
I mean, it's
health matters, right? So does New Orleans actually have a shot at beating Phoenix without Devin Booker the next 2 games?
Maybe one more game. I think it goes 6 now. I can't see Phoenix going 8-14 and losing the series. But as I said, it reminds me of Memphis against Utah last year, where Memphis gave them a much tougher run than we anticipated. And Brandon Ingram, I mean, I haven't watched that much New Orleans this year. My goodness. He is fantastic. And with McCollum, that's an ugly team to play right now.
Well, actually, I had this conversation with, I think it was Gary on Saturday.
On Saturday? You're doing Gary's weekend?
On Sunday. No. We just had a Facebook conversation. And during the Celtics game. It was Saturday 3:30. And his response was he is a huge Jason Tatum fan. And that's okay. Look, Jason Tatum's a great player. I get it. And he wanted me to say, is there anybody else that I would take over Jason Tatum in the price range that Jason Tatum is? And would you take Brandon Ingram over Jason Tatum? That's the only guy in the legitimate price range that is close to him. I think it's $1 million apart. And granted,
what is Tatum signed for? 125 over?
He's at like 29 and Ingram's at like 30 and a half. Like it's not a huge bump. But who would you take? Like if you're looking at those two guys, who would you and Tatum had a better year this year, but Ingram certainly had a better year last year.
I would still take Tatum. Actually, I'm surprised you didn't bring up your boy.
Well, Jaylen Brown's at 25. So I take
Brown at 25.
I'd rather have both of them. I'm telling you, I'd rather have Brown than half the NBA. But yes,
I'd rather have Brown than 98% of the NBA.
Yeah, I would completely look. If you're looking at comps with Brown, as far as hold on one second, Jaylen Brown salaries, right? So let's just look at so Jaylen Brown's earning $24.83 million. Just to put that in a little bit of context, he is, where is it? It comes up here on Spotrac. No, it's not coming up what I thought it was. He's the seventh most expensive shooting guard, and he's the 42nd highest paid player in the NBA. 42. So let's look at some luminaries that are above Jaylen Brown. Okay, Al Horford, DeMar DeRozan, De'Aaron Fox, Jamal Mitchell, Gordon Hayward, D'Angelo Russell.
Wait. Who's Jamal Mitchell?
Jamal Murray.
Yep.
Okay. Gordon Hayward, D'Angelo Russell, CJ McCollum, Kevin Love, Andrew Wiggins, Porzingis, Towns. I mean, let me go from the top.
One guy I think I'd rather have than Jaylen Brown than anyone you just mentioned.
Let me go from the top. Do I want Stephen Curry at 45 or Jaylen Brown at 25? I want Jaylen Brown at 25.
Jaylen Brown.
I want him over John Wall no matter what I want him over Harden no matter what. I want him over Westbrook no matter what. Durant at 42 or Jaylen Brown at 25? I still want Jaylen Brown.
Jaylen Brown at 25.
Especially since he's 5 years younger. LeBron.
He's more than 5 years younger.
I think Brown, hold on, 42. Brown, you're right. He's 8 years younger. You're absolutely
Brown's
right.
like 25. 25.
Okay. I want him more than LeBron. I want him more than Paul George. $14 million more. More than Kawhi. More than Lillard. Okay, Giannis is the first one that I have to talk about. Giannis is earning $14 million more, but is actually a year younger. I might want Giannis.
Giannis is a different discussion point.
Okay. Do I want Klay Thompson? No. Do I want Butler? No. Do I want Tobias Harris? No. Do I want Middleton? No. By the way, these are all guys that are $10 million more. I don't want Anthony Davis. I don't want Rudy Gobert. Kyrie. Look, if I get the Kyrie from Saturday every game, yeah, I want Kyrie. But I'm not getting the Kyrie from Saturday every game. And Kyrie, by the way, is earning 35 now on the last year of his contract. That's going to go up. Bradley Beal? No. Ben Simmons? If I get the Ben Simmons from 2 years ago, maybe, but not the Ben Simmons today. Siakam? Siakam's 27 and earning $8 million more.
That's
close. That's in the discussion. Drew Holiday? No. Towns? Yes. Towns is 26 and earning 31.
You'd rather have Towns than Brown?
I might want to have Towns because it's hard to get a 3-point stretch 3-point guy. Porzingis definitely not. Booker's 31 million at 25. Okay, right. He's in the discussion. Wiggins, no. Jokic, yes. Jokic is 26 and Embiid, yes. Love, no. McCallum, no. Chris Paul.
We're talking about 5 or 6 players.
You're talking about 5 or 6 players monetarily versus him, and then you got Tatum at 28 and DeRozan at 26. But DeRozan,
you're not going to take DeRozan over Brown because
he's also 32 years old. Right. Tatum's 23. I didn't realize Tatum was that young.
Yeah, Tatum left after 1 year at Duke.
Yeah, and that may be the guy, right? So do you take Tatum over him? Maybe. But I think the discussion that and you saw it on Saturday, Jaylen Brown's one of the top 5 most valuable players for the salary in the NBA. That's it. And he may be the best all-around player for the most valuable dollar for dollar NBA player. Because I think what he does is at 25 million and Jokic at 31, those are the 2 guys. That's it. Because Brown plays every game. So, but I definitely, I was very impressed by what he did. And they won, right? I mean, they won by the skin of their chinny chin chin, but they definitely won. So game 2 tonight, and so Jake gets to stay up for the whole game.
No, you nuts?
I was just
he'll get a quarter.
He gets to go on vacation tomorrow. He can sleep on the plane.
Yeah, I'm hoping because you know what that means.
I get
to sleep on the plane.
Oh, I thought you were going to get to watch Sports Center.
No, flight's at 10 o'clock in the morning. I'll watch the games tonight. I have to pack. I have work that still needs to be done. And then I am done.
On vacation.
Oh, I have a story to tell you later on.
Well, I would love to hear it.
Well, yeah, I can tell it on here also. It doesn't matter, but we'll see where
we'll go. So switch. So we have our NBA, and next week we have our NFL preview. We failed to discuss something. First of all, what kind of I want to say garbage dumpster fire is the Washington Commanders on top of everything, right? We haven't talked about them going on a federal investigation into that team. Look, I see Stephen Ross just clapping because we're not talking about him right now. I see Jimmy Haslam clapping because we're not talking about Deshaun Watson right now. But man, oh man, can that team be any more of a dumpster fire than the Washington? First of all, the commies. I just have to keep calling them the commies. And Carson Wentz becomes their quarterback, which I think just plays into the fact that they're a dumpster fire. And they gave up 2 third-round picks, one that could become a second. Again, dumpster fire. But do you foresee – okay, so let me throw a couple of questions at you. And I understand this is not our draft preview, but at the same time, next year we're going to be cycling through our draft. So we don't really have the time to go through that. Are the Giants trading down?
Yes.
Both picks or just the first, or just the second one?
Whichever one. I think they will trade either of them. I think they would prefer to trade 7 because they're going to look at the two defensive linemen. Pretty much to me, their pick is one of the 2 offensive linemen, whether it's Neal or Kenyu, or it's one of the 3 defensive linemen, most likely. Thibodeau, Hutchinson, I guess Trayvon Walker. They'll look at Sauce Gardner also. No, they're going to look to trade with Seattle. They're going to look to trade with Carolina for, a pick around number 10 or 11, next year's first round, and probably some, additional draft crap. I think they try to. I don't know if they'll succeed.
Yeah. No, I took
every Giant fan sees this as a complete rebuild year. And after this year, our cap room is much better because the only one we kicked down the road was Adoree Jackson, which is like $9 million a year, which isn't going to kill us. Then we can get off Leonard Williams, we can get off of Kenny Galladay, and we can kind of start to really build again.
Is Daniel Jones your quarterback in 2023?
I think so. I do. I wouldn't put it in blood. I wouldn't guarantee it. But I think they're going to keep Barkley. I think they've brought in five offensive linemen, three off. They're going to draft one, at least probably two in the first 3 rounds because they have 4 picks. I think they're going to try. They're going to keep Barkley because the only way. Look, if you can get a second round for Barkley, then you do it. But to trade him for a 5th round pick to me makes absolutely no sense when you're trying to determine whether someone can be your quarterback, but you're putting no talent around him to determine.
Hey, welcome to the Jets, right? Welcome to Sam Darnold.
But welcome to Sam Darnold. And look, what is that? What is Joe Douglas trying to do with Zach Wilson? You have brought in Corey Davis. You brought in Elijah Moore. You brought in
putting in weapons.
They tried to get Tyreek. They're going to try and get Debo. Again, depending on what you pay for Debo, because Debo scares me. As a wonderful player is, and he's fantastic, but the running back wide receiver Cordell Patterson kind of flex thing just leads to injury in my mind. So it does concern me a little bit. But, Zach Wilson has 2 years to determine whether he can be the starting quarterback.
Yep.
But they've at least built something. They have talent around him. We don't know how good the talent is yet.
Sure.
But they got something around them. I mean, what the hell do the Giants have if they trade Barkley? Assuming, look, and he may get hurt and maybe
they have the Jets from 3 years ago.
Yeah,
used to say that it was the worst skill player.
I also think, look, if they go 6-10 and they don't have talent, and it depends. It depends how good these other quarterbacks. It depends where they end up. It's like anything else. If they have a top 5 pick and they can take Bryce Young or C.J. Strauss or whoever, Jackson Dart from USC or whoever it is.
Yep.
If that's the fit, then that's the fit. The idea is to set it up so if they need to pick a quarterback, they can either pick them or they can trade up to get him.
Right.
I don't know. And I don't know how any Giant fan can make a practical and what they did was exactly right. They brought in a competent backup, not really to push for the job, but in case this happens, you're not a dumpster fire on the field. Taylor is certainly he's a borderline starter. So he's certainly a competent backup.
Look, he started everywhere he's gone. Unfortunately, he's only started for 3 games everywhere he's gone.
Pretty much. But, but that's the gist of it is I think they trade. Look, it also depends what you get. It's like anything else. I'm not trading down to 18 to the Saints. That's not going to do me any good because the Saints are never bad. If I trade with Seattle, let's say, does anyone think Seattle is going to really be good this year? Especially,
no, but I don't think you'd get very much to go from 6 to 9 or 8 to 9.
Well, no, it depends. They may for Seattle, they may trade 5 if because they want to go ahead of Carolina.
Sure, I get it, but I don't see where you have leverage. I don't see where any team in the draft this year really has leverage. Not.
Let's talk. Take a step back here.
Okay.
I want Malik Willis. I'm Seattle.
Yep.
I've traded my stud quarterback.
Yep.
Whether regardless of whether it was a good deal, bad deal, I've traded my stud quarterback. This year is not going any. Most likely not going anywhere.
Right. I
need a quarterback to reinvigorate the franchise, even if it takes me a year to get there.
Sure.
Carolina, to me, Matt Rule doesn't take Willis because Matt Rule needs a good job deal, needs to do well this year to keep his job.
Mm-hmm.
But Tepper may overrule him because he's David Tepper and that's what he does. So, Carolina, again, I'm just thinking high level here. Carolina needs a quarterback. Atlanta needs a quarterback. Washington traded for one. But so you have Carolina, Washington.
You have Carolina,
Washington,
Seattle, and Pittsburgh. Those are your three main.
No, Atlanta. I mean, Mariota.
And Atlanta. Okay, so you have four.
Pittsburgh's irrelevant. Pittsburgh's drafting number 20. You're not trading with Pittsburgh. You're not trading with New Orleans at 18. So you're trading.
If you got 16 and 18 for your number 8, you wouldn't do it?
No.
16, 18 in next year's second?
That's a little bit. I would think about it.
And that's what if you're the Giants, if you're most teams in the top 10, if you're the Jets, if you're the Giants, if you're the Jaguars, I don't think the Jaguars obviously trade number 1. I don't think Detroit trades number 2. Even the Texans at 3, or I think they have 13 now. If they're looking to trade down, I don't think they're looking for draft capital today. I think they're looking for draft capital tomorrow. I think those teams, the Jets are probably the anomaly. I think they actually want to win this year, unlike the others. But I think, and I would not be the least bit surprised if the Jets package both if they still have these picks after the acquisition of Deebo Samuel, which I am hoping beyond hope that they make.
Do you think that's an inevitability?
I think it really depends on how many teams. I went through this today with a friend of mine. How many teams have the cap room to get a Deebo Samuel and the draft capital to give up? The Jets could give up both second-round picks, 33 and 38, and that is equivalent. That's equivalent with what Tyreek Hill got, right? What you gave for Tyreek Hill. I think the Jets offered that for Tyreek Hill. It was the 2 number 2s and I think a 4, and they'd give that up for Deebo Samuel too. And I think that would be fine for both teams. Jets have the cap room to do it. But there aren't many teams that actually have that cap room, that have the draft capital. The 2 that you have to look at, obviously, are the 2 teams that gave up wide receivers in this draft to do that, and that would be the Packers and the Raiders. Now, the Raiders. The Packers and the Chiefs. Now, do I think either one of them would do that? Not if they wouldn't give them to those 2 guys. They're sure as hell not to give them to this guy.
And especially the Chiefs at 17 or wherever they're picking. There's going to be receivers out there.
Well, they got 2 picks.
Right.
They got 2
Well,
picks.
they have 17 and 30, I think.
Right. So if they were offered 30, would they do it? And at the same time, I think they replenished with Scantling and Juju Schuster. But
Scantling is not a replenishing. Scantling is just putting a name in there.
But neither one of those guys, Seth. Deebo doesn't bring what Tyreek Hill does. They're different players entirely. Scantling at least brings the speed that Tyreek Hill does.
Scantling couldn't even be developed as a solid number 2 in Green Bay.
Oh, Scantling is like don't throw it to stone hands from Necessary Roughness. I mean, it is.
Wow, a Kathy Ireland reference.
Thank you. It's Scott Bakula as well. Scott Bakula, yeah. So I'm not sure that I don't think either one of those teams goes down this path. So then you look at it, and the other teams that may be interested, Chicago Bears, Houston Texans, and Bears don't have a first-round pick. They gave it up to you guys.
I'm aware.
Yeah, I know.
I cannot imagine the Houston Texans, with needing every position known to man, are going to trade for Deebo Samuel. They just re-signed Brandon Cooks, who's
they did. By the way, it's Braden Cooks. It's not Brandon.
Oh, I apologize. Braden Cooks are going to spend draft capital when they need literally 13 positions for a wide receiver. That doesn't make sense.
I didn't think the Jaguars would sign Kristen Kirk to a 4-year, $84 million deal either.
The Jaguars don't have a bleeping place. But I think also it's very difficult to bring people to Jacksonville. Okay. Who the hell wants to live in Jacksonville?
Fair.
Houston, people want to be in. I mean, it's also a state.
Really? When's the last time the Texans signed a free agent of consequence?
When was the last time the Texans were relevant and could?
Okay, both are good questions, but I really have the Texans ever signed a free agent of consequence?
No, but there's a couple of issues at there. Number one, people determine that McNair is a racist,
Yep.
and sorry, um,
Yeah, they determine he's a racist, and they have not been very good. So who wants to go to a team that's not good? Well,
right. And so between those two, it's a difficult. It's a difficult.
it's a difficult selling job. I get it. I get it.
You don't have a
Totally
great.
get it.
You have a coach. You have a retread coach. After a retread coach. So
Yeah.
So I mean, I don't know. I don't know if that's Jackson. I think again, maybe I'll be hearing from the travel bureau. All right, I have to take this. This is Carly's third call in 5 minutes.
All right. No worries. All right. So Seth's off for a little bit, but I mean, you go down all these teams and you look at it, and Indy's not going to trade up that capital. That's not Chris Ballard's way. The Titans sure as hell don't have that capital. They're not going to trade up either. You keep going down the list. Denver's doesn't need it. Kansas City's not doing it. The Raiders don't need it. The Chargers aren't doing it. The Cardinals aren't doing it. The Rams aren't doing it. Niners have him. Seattle's not doing it. The Bucks aren't doing it. The Saints aren't doing it. Panthers don't need him. The Falcons.
Well, who are we talking about right now?
Debo. We're talking about any.
Why wouldn't the Saints want him?
The Saints have Michael Thomas at $27 million. They're not about to put 32 on top of that.
Fair.
And have $69
That's
million.
Right. Their salary is
their cap is a disaster.
That's right.
The Falcons, okay, I can see the Falcons replacing Ridley. That makes sense.
Right, that makes sense.
But
And they have
but if you're the Falcons, are you giving up the number 9 pick to do it? No.
No, you'd have to give up 2 this year, 3 this year, and maybe 3 next year, something like that.
Or something like that. The Vikings don't need him. The Packers aren't doing it. The Lions, he ain't going there. The Bears, we discussed. The Commanders, they have their own problem with Terry McLaurin. The Eagles would do it. I would tell you flat out, the Eagles would do it.
The Eagles have the draft capital to do it.
They do. They do. The Giants aren't going to do it, and the Cowboys aren't going to do it. So I named 3 teams. That's it. 3 teams have the ability to do it and would want to do it. Jets are just as primed as any of them. Jets have more capital than any of them. They have more capital than even the Eagles do if they wanted to spend it.
Yes.
The problem is,
how much do you want to spend?
How much do you want to spend? And to be fair, I have a lot more confidence in Joe Douglas than I ever did in the Knicks GM not to overpay. So that is a positive in my court. I am very much I'm looking forward to the draft next week. I mean, I really am, probably because I only have to watch the first 30 minutes and then I can go to sleep because the Jets finish in the first 30 minutes. And then I can watch on Friday.
What are you talking about? They have picks 4 and 10. Are you convinced they're going to trade 10?
Yeah, I really am.
Besides, the draft is fun.
I know.
Are we going to do a Zoom during it?
We can do a Zoom during it. Sure. That sounds like fun. We can even broadcast the Zoom during it if we wanted to.
Maybe we'll see if Gary wants to come on.
Yeah, that would be great. But
have Gary and Nabate come on and just have them go at
it. So we just sit there like,
yay.
Gary, meet Nabate. Nabate has never met an opinion he does not like. His own.
Oh, okay.
Nabate meet Gary. Gary has never met an opinion of his own he has not liked. Okay, we're good to go. But anyway, look, they're both good guys. They both have strong senses of opinion, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Yep.
Okay, so we got about 10 more minutes. I got to tell you, I like my prediction with the Mets so far, as long as everybody stays healthy. If you saw Scherzer last night, I'm not sure you caught any of that game.
Do you think – let's think about this.
Baseball.
My first night out of busy season.
Baseball in April.
I have the NBA playoffs.
Yeah.
I am so tired I can barely speak, which we all know is a big deal to me. And you think I'm going to spend it watching the bleeping Mets?
Were you watching the bleeping Yankees?
More than the Mets, but no. I'd probably rather catch up on Money Heist.
And how's that going?
I watched the first 2 seasons. It was great.
You watched the first 2 seasons in one day?
No. I just over time. I haven't. I'm
Oh,
3
I
years
was like,
behind. I'll watch it over the
Mon-
next month or two.
Money Heist is hard for me. I know we're not talking sports, but Money Heist is hard for me. First of all, it's dubbed, and it's difficult for me to be doing 30 things at once while watching it dubbed.
No, you have to actually watch the show.
Yeah, I actually have to watch the show, and that's hard for me to do and single that out. But it's a good show. I got through like the first 4 episodes, and then it said, "Wait, I'm playing a game while I'm watching it. I can't keep doing this." So I found something else. But I suggest you catch up on Billions if we're looking for shows.
Let's get to the summer. I'll worry about it. I'm 1 day out of season. I'm leaving for Disney in 14 hours.
Are you packed?
No, the kids are. My wife is.
Carly's packed?
Yeah, Carly packed last night.
Is your laundry done?
I did 6 loads of it last night.
Wow. You did 6 loads of laundry?
5 loads.
I'm kind of impressed by this.
Best thing that ever happened in our house. Laundry room right next to the bedroom. So steam, just run steam through it. Cleaned all my crap.
Peloton, steam. Peloton.
No
steam.
Peloton. Peloton comes back after season. It took a month off.
Okay.
I've had no time. This was as bad a season as I've ever had.
So we and I'll give you a call around 6:15. We can discuss. But look, I very rarely post on Facebook on the Seth and Sean Sports website. I need to start doing that a little bit more. But last week was, I got to tell you, really hard. It was this year. This year has been downright depressing to be an Islander fan. It just has been. You had Stanley Cup aspirations. You had a brand new stadium. You started the year on a 13-game road trip, which was awful. Then you got COVID on half the team, and basically the NHL put up the middle finger and said, "Tough luck." And then 2 weeks later said, "Oh wait, everybody's got COVID. Okay, let's stop."
Yep.
And you lost 8 out of 9 games during that stretch. We lose Jethro, Clark Gillies earlier in the year. And last week, the Islanders family lost the best goal scorer of all time. I mean, there is
their best goal scorer of all time.
No, I would say the best.
The best goal scorer of all time?
So let me run a little bit by you. And I love this because when you look at what this man, and by the way, we're talking about Mike Bossy.
Mike Bossy, sure.
So Mike Bossy, he passed away at 65 from lung cancer. So Mike Bossy's stats. First of all, Mike Bossy had started his career with 9 straight 50-goal seasons, consecutive. Nobody's ever done that.
Lemieux didn't do that? Nobody
has done that. Gretzky did 8, then took a year off, and then did it again, but nobody has done 9. So the most consecutive 50-plus goal scorers. The most 50 goal scorers, he's tied with Gretzky. The most 60 goal scorers, he's tied with Gretzky with 5. The highest goals per game career. Just think about that. He averaged 0.7, 3/4 of a goal a game. Now, I get it. How do you determine 3/4 of a goal? But that's what he did. He retired at age 30.
Injury?
He had 2 herniated discs in his back.
That's what I thought.
He had 573 goals at age 30.
I didn't realize.
The record is Gretzky with something around 850.
I was going to say about 800, 900, yeah.
So 573 at 830. Let's say he even averaged – his last year he averaged 38 goals. He had 38 goals in 63 games. Let's say he averaged 35 goals for the next 5 years. He's at 720 goals. And that's only if he's averaging 35, not 40, right? The best goal scorer of all time. And the one thing about him that people do not know is he never got into a fight in the NHL. So he was hit so much in the juniors that he said, you know what, I'm against it. He won 3 Lady Byng trophies. He played 10 years and accumulated 210 penalty minutes. This is at a time when the Broad Street Bullies were the Broad Street Bullies.
Sure.
Like, hockey was a lot different back then than it is today.
Did he ever win an MVP?
No.
Was it because his prime coincided with Gretzky's or his?
Yeah. Well, Gretzky, Bobby Clark, Brian Trottier, Marcel Dion. I mean, this was.
No, wait a second. If you're going to claim he's the best goal scorer of all time,
I am.
I'm fine. Then I find it a little strange that Gretzky's one thing. Gretzky is unanimously the number one,
Sure.
or like Bobby Orr, the number 2 player of all time.
Sure.
All of these other players, Marcel Dion, Hall of Famer, Bobby Clark, Hall of Famer, Brian Trottier, very good player. I mean, I guess
Hall of Famer. He's a Hall of Famer.
But like, I think of Dion and Clark as great all-time greats. I don't know if I put Trottier.
So let's put this. Okay, so let's.
But you
talk
see
about
where I'm
this.
going with this.
10 years, 5 first-team All-Star games, All-Star teams. Okay, now his 10th year, he only played 63 games because of his back.
Okay.
So, and only had 75 points, which is more than a point per game for those that can't do the math. So he was 5 times first All-Star team, 3 times second All-Star team. So 8 out of 10 years, right? The only guy that's comparable to him is Yari Curry. The only guy in that time span as a winger. Nobody else. Because the other guys that we just mentioned, Gretzky, Bobby Clark, Marcel Dion, Trottier, all centers. All centers.
Bet you didn't think I knew that.
I'm a little impressed. But if you're looking at straight snipers, there are 2 guys on the 2. Well, Rocket Richard I never saw, but there are 3 snipers that I've ever seen that evoked fear. Bossy is definitely number 1. Ovechkin is easily number 2, and Mike Gardner is number 3. Mike Gardner scared me more than Wayne Gretzky because Mike Gardner coming down the wing was the fastest man alive.
He was fast,
and he had the hardest shot. And he may not have hit the goal every time, which kind of goes to shooting goals. But at the end of the day, look, like I said, hard week. And when you lose Jethro and then you lose the boss, it's just hard. It's just hard. And look, we talk about more and more people passing away from our childhood. And this one just ripped the Band-Aid off really bad. So,
yeah. And then to coincide with that, you have the other side of the age bracket regarding death. You have Cristiano Ronaldo's kid, who died prematurely, and Liverpool, who Man U and Liverpool, who have a hatred beyond pretty much anything. Their fans all stood up and gave a 1-minute standing ovation, saying "We'll never walk alone" during the 7th minute, which is Cristiano Ronaldo's number, in tribute to his kid who died. And on that happy note, I mean,
we'll be back next week with our NFL draft.
We have the NFL draft.
All right,
See you next week.
Have a great week. Bye-bye.